Hello friends, welcome or welcome back to my channel again. Today's video is going to be the mid-year freakout tag. It is already July now and I don't know how the first half of the year went by, and within a blink of an eye it just got over, and it's really fast paced, and I want the time to slow down so badly so I can read more books, enjoy them more. With all those things that has happened to me in the first half of the year, I still managed to read 39 books. And apart from the books that I have been doing the wrapped pages challenges, and wrapped pages challenges, I have read, I think, 31 books. And I read some extra books apart from the challenge. And as you know, I'm already halfway through the wrapped pages challenge and I still got some books. I'm going to read them in the next half of the year. And this is the time to talk about all the books that I read from Jan to June, and let's get started. For those who don't know what Midyear Freakout Tag is, it's kind of a set of 13-ish questions and I get to answer them one by one, and you will get to know what I'm talking about when I go through this video. That's not much complicated. So let's get started. The first question is the best book that I read so far this year, and that is undoubtedly it's The Jade City by Fonda Lee, and this is everything that I could ask for in a book. I cannot tell you enough how much of you have been recommending this book to me in my comments, and there are a lot of comments asking me to read this Jade City, and I finally picked it up. Like, I was so dumb not to pick up earlier, and I finally picked it up in the Wrapped Pages challenge, and it was so good. I was immediately hooked up with the story, and I was very rooting for all the characters. It's really character driven and it's action packed. It's about rivalry between gangs for the magic of Jade, and you will root for characters you don't even like. That's how the author is good. You know, this author makes you root for characters that are morally gray and they are not good at all. She can make you love Hitler if she wanted to write it about him. That much good she is, and I really loved reading this. And I'm so happy that there are two more books in this series. It's a trilogy, and that is called, I think, Jade Legacy or Jade Wars, I think, if I'm not wrong. But I am restricting myself not to buy those books before finishing the Wrapped Pages challenge. So that is very much, you know, it's teasing me, and I'm anticipating to read that book probably next year, but I will definitely continue with the series. If you want to take away anything from this video, please let it be this one. I love this book so much with my entire heart, and you will love it if you like action-packed, character-driven stories. The next question is the worst book that I read in 2026 so far, and that is literally pains my heart because it's so beautiful to look at, and that is Heart of Sun Warrior, and it is by Sue Lin Tan, and this is part of a duology. The first book is called The Daughter of the Moon Goddess, which was pretty decent, and that is why I picked up the next book. And this book is like disaster in every form because there were no character arc. There was so many plots that could have been developed so beautifully. It had so much potential. It could have been an epic Asian fantasy, but it did not deliver at all. It was so underwhelming. There were so many characters that were useless, and all the characters' decisions were infuriating me. And I was literally about to throw this book at someone because I was so angry at what was happening with this book. So this is the worst book that I read in the year so far. The next question is the biggest surprise for me in 2026 so far, and for me that is an author. I have been eyeing this author online for so long, and this is a classic book, and it's been resurfacing again after so long years, and it's been doing that for very good reason because he's incredibly brilliant at writing books, and that is John Steinbeck, and this book is called Of Mice and Men. This is the kind of book that you read it, you finish it, and then you look at the wall for 20 minutes straight and wonder about life. That's the kind of book it is, and I loved it so much. I was very speechless by the end of this book, and it was very, it was sweet, it was heavy-hearted, it was practical. I don't know what else to say. This is the hard decisions that people make. It's during the Great Depression of America, and it's really, I don't want to give away anything because it's very short. Anything that I give away is going to kill your experience of reading it. So please do check this one out, and it's really the best book, and I can't wait to read more Steinbeck books. The next one is the biggest disappointment of the year, and I think I'm going to make a lot of people upset by saying this. The House of Leaves by Mark Danilevsky is the biggest disappointment for me this year. Don't get me wrong, this is kind of a cult classic in horror genre and people love it, and there is a separate fan base on the internet for this book. That is why I picked it up, but it is kind of a huge homework for me to read this book. It has insane timelines that go zigzag and you have to follow it. You have to follow three different narrators and you have to understand lot of symbolism in it, and every slowly you have to lose your mind just like the character lose their mind. And I don't think one should be putting so much effort just to enjoy a book. If it is coming effortlessly to you, good for you, enjoy this book. Take it with a grain of salt that this book may be good for you, because it did not work for me and this was a disappointment because I wanted to love it. The next question is the fictional crush. And I'm way past having a crush right now. And I don't think I have crushes anymore over fictional characters. But if I had read this book when I was younger, I would have definitely swooned over this character. And that is Marco from The Night Circus, because he's mystical, he's magical, he loves so deeply. And Celia is really very lucky in that aspect that she gets to meet this incredible guy and fall in love, be his enemy at the same time. And it was incredibly, really swoon worthy to read this love story. You know, it was very happy to read about it. And if my younger self read it, maybe she would have had the crush on Marco. By the way, the last question was mostly for readers of romance, so it doesn't really fit for me, but I really wanted to talk about Marcos, and that's why I told about him. And the next question is favorite fictional character, and for that, I definitely would say Flavia Deleuze. And this book is called The Sweetness at the Bottom of the Pie by Alan Bradley, and this is a series of 13 books, and all of which follows Flavia Deleuze. She is an 11-year-old detective and she is a master in chemistry and, more importantly, poisons. And she is solving different types of murders, mysteries and everything. The first book was incredible and I watched the movie too. The movie is really, really good with Martin Freeman in it, and I hope you will love it when you read it. And I'm intent to start collecting the books in the series and read it, and I had super fun time hanging out with Flavia Deleuze. So she's my favorite character as of now. The next question is the book that made me cry. I did not cry technically, but this made me depressed as hell. There were two books in this category. One is Vegetarian, the other one is the one I'm going to talk about. Vegetarian was okay-ish, but this destroyed me. I'm talking about The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. Just because this is not fiction entirely, and the fact that the author had gone through this much of torture and depression and mental derail, it's really something to read about, and I could not imagine the pain that she has gone through. And I have no words. No one should go through this. No one should have depression. No, please take care of your mental health if you have issues. Really, it's very bothering, and it was so hard for me to read and complete this book. And this is the one that made me not cry but depressed. On a lighter note, let's talk about the book that made me happy. And this is not a happy book as such, but it gives me immense pleasure, immense happiness when I look at this finished copy, and that is The Count of Monte Cristo. Just look at it. How satisfying is this? I finally finished Count of Monte Cristo. It is bringing smile to my face. Just the fact that I finished this is making me so happy. So this book is the one that made me happy. And also the story is incredibly fast paced and it's so good, so vivid, and you will just fall in love with Count of Monte Cristo. And the plot twist and the the revenge that he takes, everything is so worth reading this 1300 pages for, and I absolutely love it. It's one of my all-time favorite classics now. I will keep on repeating and recommending this book on my channel till you read it, so you better pick it up right now. The next question is the best sequel that I read in 2026, and technically I did not read much of a series, and the only sequel that I read is The Heart of the Sun Warrior, which was a disaster, so I am not going to count it as my best sequel. But if I want to say something, Pudding might include in this. It's not technically a sequel, but it's kind of in the same world. It's an independent story, but Pudding was very nice. That's by Julie Murphy, and it is a YA contemporary book. The next question is, what are the books that I have in the rest of the year TBR? You already know that there are books that are wrapped in the Wrapped Pages challenge. I still have almost 20 plus books to read, and all those books are in my rest of the year TBR. If I can complete all the wrapped books in this year itself, I will be over the cloud, and it's really very satisfying if I read it. But I don't know, the rest of the year is going to be very busy for me, so I'm not sure if I can completely finish it. If I do, that's a great win for me. The next one is new favorite author, and for me, I felt like I was living under a rock, because this has been in the market for a long time and people have been talking about how good it is, but still did not finish it. But this was the year I finally read Khalid Hosseini's books, A Thousand Splendid Suns and The Mountains Echoed. This is okay if you don't even read, it's okay, and The Mountains Echoed, it's still okay. But A Thousand Splendid Sun is incredibly beautiful. It is really great, and it's about two women in the Afghan war. Um, I don't know how this guy came up with this story, and it's really so realistic and so painful and also hopeful at the end. It's really good. If you haven't tried any of Khalid Hosseini's books, you should try this Thousand Splendid Suns. This is the best of his work, I think. I only read 2 books from him, but I could feel in my bones that this is the best of his work because it made me move. The last question is the most beautiful book that I've bought this year so far, and that for me is the 70th anniversary edition of The Mousetrap by Agatha Christie. This is very close to my heart because my father used to tell me that the longest run play in England, in the world for say, is Mousetrap, and I was 13 years old when he said that, and somehow that was embedded in my mind memory. And when I found this book in the old bookstore, I was so excited, and when I read it, I could not identify the killer, and Agatha Christie again threw me off my track, and she just impressed me by the end of this book. It was so good, and look at this. Isn't it so beautiful? Just look at the end papers, and it is such a beautiful edition, and I just adore how this book is, and this is the most beautiful book that I bought so far this year. And there are 2 more questions technically in that book tag, speaking about the anticipated releases and new release books that I've wanted to read but I haven't yet. The thing is that I haven't checked online what books are getting released this year, just because I want to finish my books in the Wrapped Pages challenge. I don't want to tempt myself to search for books or read books, so I stayed away from the new releases and everything, so I don't have anything to talk about in those questions, so I skipped them. So that's about it. This is all the books and this is all the questions that I could answer in the mid-year freakout tag, and I hope you loved this video. And as always, do let me know all your thoughts in the comments, all your bookish thoughts. Did you read any of these books, or do I have to read any of the books that you loved? Let me know all those things in the comments. I would love to know. I would love to chat with you guys. And until I see you again in a very next video with the bookish content, until then, this is Sushmita signing off. Keep reading. Bye-bye.